Welcome back to the All Out NRL Fantasy Podcast, episode 2 of our preseason run-up. If you haven't seen episode 1, we touched on the new signings that the NRL off-season of 2024, 2023, and everywhere else in between prevailed. Make sure you go to check that one out.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe. If you haven't followed on the Instagram, make sure to do that. But today we're doing the best cheapies. If you haven't seen the title already to start the year with, people to look out for in the trials. And I know Dor here, who has done a lot of research on these guys, is very excited to walk through these ones.
Dor studied.
Yes, no. We did the templates if you haven't seen them as well.
Yeah, they did well.
On the page,
Yep.
on all socials, so you can go and have a look there. But yeah, the most owned player and top of the list, I think, is Isaiah Iongi from the Eels, starting at fullback, price $350K. Averaged 43 in his one game last year for the Panthers. And,
Happy there.
36.5 in New South Wales Cup as well. So, look, I just think with that Gutho gone now, I think that he's going to dominate. He's a very exciting prospect. Like Mick always says, he passes the eye test for me. So, yeah, look, really good numbers in New South Wales Cup, 164 metres a game.
They'll give him some time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to just play a couple of rounds and they drop him.
I think he's definitely, he's in 51.34% of teams. I think he is definitely the best cheapie to start with. But obviously look at those trials as well. Monitor how he goes, but definitely.
Cheapies really get me excited because there's always a chance for the next cheapie to become in the NRL Hall of Fame of cheapies. And we have Payne Haas in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he's got to be number one.
Who's else in the Hall of Fame? I mean,
Manu Ma'u.
There's a lot of cheapies here in the Hall of Fame that we'll have to get a list
Bateman, Nakora, those guys.
Yeah. But it's just great to have a list of 2025 class of cheapies coming through the ranks here. And, there's some similar names to last year. There's some new names.
Weak.
Yeah, last year was weak.
Weak, yeah.
When you got Brendan Hands and Lussick in your team, you're in trouble.
Yeah, but that's a great start, Dor. And your next man, Sandon Smith.
Yes.
250K in the halves. Should start for the Roosters, you think?
I think he's going to play the whole year. But I think his role until Sam Walker is back is going to be huge, and you're going to have to get on because he's going to be the dominant half there doing the kicks. The Roosters have given plenty of support as well. Obviously, Keary's gone to the Super League. Walker's going to be out for a fair chunk of the season with that ACL injury. So I think, 250K, it'd be stupid not to have him in.
Yeah, that's pretty lackluster halves pairing for the Roosters. I think Smith will realise I have to grab this opportunity before Walker comes back.
100%.
He should be in every team.
I think also he's probably a good person to just have in your emergencies and just stay in the emergencies. He might not be a bench guy, he might not be a starting guy, but just to whack him in your emergencies, see the cash roll over, I think he's going to be probably a good buy for the first 10 weeks to come.
Yeah, he's the second most popular cheapies in 45.17% of teams. So
wouldn't surprise me if the Roosters are going all right, that Walker extends his recovery a bit.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
The next guy, Dor, Peter Mama, the hooker with Cook gone.
Yes, well, the South obviously lost Cook and they didn't really go out and try and buy anyone. There was some rumours that Wayne Bennett sat down and had a few lunches with Tommy Starling, but other than that, nothing really has eventuated there. So you got Mamazoulis there, obviously 319K. 23.9 he averaged last season. He didn't really get that many minutes because he was sort of in that double rotation with Cook. I see he could play 80, but I think he's probably more likely maybe going to play 60 minutes, and they could have Havili come off the bench and maybe play 15, 20 minutes, but he could definitely play 80 minutes. And look at that price. It doesn't really even matter. He just you're getting him in 319K.
I think he might play 80, Dor.
I think he could. Yeah,
they just want him as a
he definitely
middle
can.
Option.
He definitely
played
can.
80 once last year when he got the start, 54 points. So he should be in everyone's team as well.
319K, 43.81% at the moment. Mick Mamazoulis is in.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, if you got a hooker at that price, it's going to be hard to pass off. And I mean, this next guy, we've probably been watching him for the last 6 years at schoolboy level and joked around how he's going to be our fantasy captain in a few years' time. He's now probably going to get the starting centre position at the Roosters, Dor. 230K, Rob Toyer, Nudgy boy.
Yeah, 230K centre position, averaged 29.8 in New South Wales Cup last year, but he only played a handful of games coming back, obviously, from that ACL. So, yeah, look, there's obviously 2 vacant spots in the Roosters side, no Suoli'i and no Manu. So I think it's between Toya, another player we'll touch on, Marky Mark, and Billy Smith.
They got to pick Rob.
So, yeah, 2 of those.
You spent a bit of time with Rob.
Yeah, versed him a few times. Played with him once. He was a buy.
He was always a buy.
He was a buy when he was about 13.
Yeah.
He might be the only centre that I'd put the captaincy on.
That's
He's that good.
a bold take.
But we were joking around about how good he was.
On a serious note, if he gets that starting gig, he'll be in the first team.
Another thing to also touch on as well with Robbie Toyer is that Teddy came out basically, I think it was the back end of last year in preseason training, and said that Robbie Toyer is training the house down and he is a player to watch to take the NRL by storm in 2025. So I honestly think that he and probably Marky Mark will be the centres, and unfortunately Billy Smith might miss out. But yeah, I'm going to be having him in my team for sure.
We sort of touched on Jackie Bird-Dor, who you got next in the Signing and Recruit podcast, last podcast, episode 1 at preseason. It's a really interesting one because we think he's going to be playing lock. We're not sure for certain. And then I've raised the point as if there's a outside back injury, is there going to be the potential for Jack Bird to then fill that hole and impact his points?
There's definitely the potential that he could be impacted by moving back there. But as I said, Skelly Legs or Skelton hopefully goes in there because I don't see him starting. But yeah, for me, look, obviously Bird's in 41.2% of teams. So he's obviously doing something right, or I think it's just the price point and that dual eligibility.
There's always injury concerns with Bird, and sometimes you do have to predict an injury. But it's just a price where...
And playing in the middle of the field, surely he works hard, can get those offloads. Bird's always had an offload and whatnot.
He'll miss 7 tackles, but he'll get 3 offloads to counteract that.
Yeah.
Look, if he's starting lock at that price, 362K, if he was 450K, I'd be saying no. But because he's 360K, I'm probably saying, yeah, get him in. So,
starting centre, I reckon, for fantasy.
Yeah, big time. And that's a great plug there, Dor, because we love people that don't play centre in the centre position.
In the centres,
If you're on a centre who's playing centre, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Rookies. Another one for your Bronx, Dor, Blakey Mozart, or Mozart, as you like to say it.
Yep. Moser, yeah, look, he should have he's definitely going to be one to start the season with. Look, reports obviously Billy Walters and I think it was Boost Juice, Tyson Smoothie was dominating in the hooker position last year. But Moser obviously at the back end of the year really came in and really looked very good past that eye test.
Yep.
And
Love the eye test.
Madge has obviously come in, taken over from Kevy. And he's really liking what he's seeing from Moser. So from what I'm hearing, Moser will start the season at hooker for the Broncos.
It's well overdue.
Yeah. The issue is obviously a bit off fantasy related, but if we don't play Moser this year, I'd say he's a shoe-in to go to the Cowboys because they're losing Robson. They need a hooker. So I think that he could easily
be a great
lost
prediction, Dor.
off contract at the end of the year. So look, I think he'll start. And you'll have him in your team, I think, until round 10 or 11, somewhere around that period when Ben Hunt will move to hooker and Mam comes into the halves, and then Moses obviously going to be off the bench there. So
Billy Walters just going to play 20 minutes off the bench, you reckon?
I think so. I think he'll have a bit of game time, but I think Moses is going to play the minutes. And look, he's obviously priced at 337K, averaged 25.3 points last season. Didn't play those, didn't have an 80-minute game like Mamazoulis did, for example. So, yeah, for me, I'm definitely going to be starting, like Cord alluded to in the last podcast as well. Not really that good depth at hooker. So you've got 2 nice cheapie hookers in Moser and Mamazoulis there to have a go at. He's obviously in Moses in 27.37% of teams at the moment. So
yeah, well said, Dor. And the next 2 cheapies that we're going to be touching on, we did touch on the recruiting podcast as well, Royce Hunt and Tom Amone. You got some pretty good stats about Amone's Super League performances here as well.
Looks very good. Passes the eye test. And then if he can do that, obviously that's in bigger minutes playing in the Super League. But if he can get the minutes like we discussed in the last pod, minutes with the Bulldogs, middles have been a bit all over the place.
Yeah, touch and go, hasn't it?
Slight concern. I remember glazing Smithies. Super League stats. I just hope it translates.
The difference with Amon is he's played in come from Australia, played for South, went over to the Super League, and then is now coming back. So I feel like he's.
I can't stand a Smithies 50 ever again.
Smithies
never again.
Well, it's just like the reason why I touch on the minutes with Amone is just that obviously like Hughes last year, there was like he was barely playing, and then for some reason I think we all sold him, and then he started playing like 50 minutes. It could be one, but look, he's 250k boys, and like the Bulldogs are very weak. If they get an injury to either Hughes or Max King, like he's playing big minutes. So
the other one,
definitely start.
Royce Hunt is the other one that we had sort of touched on there. You think he's going to start with Terrell May for the Tigers?
Yes. Yeah, I think he starts with May at the Tigers, but I just think wait and see. I really don't know what the minutes are going to be looking like outside of Terrell May there for the Tigers in that middle rotation. So
I hope he's not a slow burn off the bench who's just, hovers around
20-30 mark.
Look, if you need someone at that cheap, it's just the minutes I just worry about. So I think all the other options we've discussed are all better than Royce Hunt.
It's good to have mid coverage. So that's another thing that's pretty appealing.
Something that stuffed us up last year.
Yeah, definitely. It does. Like there's always a lot of cheapies around the centers and the wing fullback, but if you can get a decent mid option who can cover you, it's great.
Yeah, well, Royce Hunt's in 25.95% of teams at the moment, and Amone is in a few less, actually. He is in 13.94%, but I think that's a bit of the unknown.
Yeah.
That's because they haven't really seen him. So I think once the trials start to happen, they see him dominate, put up those sort of numbers.
Like compared to last year, a pretty sport for choice. It's almost worth like getting all these guys, and then you can afford the top tier guns.
Yeah, almost
100%, Mick.
Dor, talking about the Cowboys again is Jackson Purdue, Mick, as well. Obviously, Holmes Felt is all left. Who else? Townsend's gone.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a multi-dimensional player, is Purdue, so there could be an option there for him.
I think he'll start in the centers with Vilea, I think, for the Cowboys. Laybut, obviously, he was starting there, but coming back from an ACL injury, and obviously Purdue was great in his chances for the Cowboys.
Yeah. He can find the try line.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to get the best base stats, but
250k,
stats.
13.9. Look, he averaged last year, but obviously only a handful of opportunities. I think that Purdue's in 26.09% of teams at the moment. So, look,
I think there's going to be a lot of similar teams to start off with.
Yeah,
yes,
and obviously the cheapie is a bit hard to judge. We're all obviously guessing now, and we're not guessing, but we have a good idea what's going to happen. Educated guess.
Purdue, I think's the one with a bit of uncertainty around him, just with Laybut coming back. But I think all these other ones that we've touched on they're going to be playing in the 17. So,
well, this next guy, I'll let you pronounce the name.
No, I want everyone to have a crack because
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark.
Mark Nawanga Taze. That's my guy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
I'm not going to touch
Go on, Dor.
Out of respect.
Go on, Dor.
Yeah, I'm going to butcher this. I think it's, what is it? Nawa Katawase.
That's actually not too bad. I'm happy there.
Mark Noah kind of Tausi.
Look, for me, if Marky Mark's going to leave the Wallabies in the prime era of rugby union, we got the Lions tour of his coming World Cup, home World Cup.
Tread carefully.
If he wants to go to the Roosters, he better perform for my fantasy team and perform well. Otherwise, I'm going to be shitty Marky Mark because you stabbed me in the back once.
If he takes a position over Robbie Toya and doesn't perform,
I'll be shitty. But he looks like
to be honest, if you think of it though, then he'll get dropped and then Toya will come in.
That's true.
There's a bit of upside.
No. But it's just a mistake to begin with.
Yeah. He should have stayed rugby. Anyway, it looks like a good option here, Dor. Obviously, coming from rugby union, he tore up for the Wallabies and the Tars. 43 average in the NRL last year, 49 New South Wales Cup.
He looked really good in his one game for the Roosters and in New South Wales Cup as well. I think he played 3 or 4 games in New South Wales Cup, 1 in the NRL. And they're pretty good numbers. I'm pretty sure he was on the wing as well. So if he's playing center, he's going to get some more ball there.
Oh, yeah.
And like we said with Robbie Toya, him and Toya and Billy Smith are all fighting for those 2 spots.
Yeah.
So
If you haven't seen much of Marky Mark, he's a dominant ball runner, can break a tackle, can break the line,
Unreal
he can
in
score
the air.
tries, unreal in the air. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Roosters just kick to their wing and similar to like a Suwali where he just jumps for the ball and tries to score a try.
I
Like
could
if
even
he's
keep him in
playing
the
center-
centers and keep, you know what I mean? Like kick the midfield to because I think that could be a real beneficial, like, midfield kick. So obviously not right out to the wing, like 10 in, him coming through the middle where there's not those wingers, those big tall blokes.
My
to
thing about him
contest.
playing center, I reckon he would struggle defensively in center.
No, I don't
Like,
think so.
Union, he was on the wing.
Yeah.
He'd
I
be-
think NRL, you can easily adapt to defensive structures easier than Union. But
Yeah, it's definitely harder to defend in the centers
Yeah.
in Union, but different game.
different
Yeah.
game. Agreed.
I think he's definitely, well, look at his price, $350K.
I think if I had to put my money on it, he's definitely locked in one of positions.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah,
They
think
need
so.
that
with
aerial
all the
threat.
hype and everything like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
coming from, like you said, called from the Wallabies and whatnot. I'm with you. I think he's locked in, and then it's
And
between
he was good as
Toya
well
and Billy
last year
Smith.
when he
Yeah,
played.
yeah, exactly, Mick.
Last 2 ones here for the Cheapies podcast door, and it's
Notable
great to see.
mentions.
It's great to see the Cheapies of 2025 come out and really surprise us this year with a really good draft class.
Sophomore guys.
Yeah, real sophomore
it's
guys.
Great class.
Great class of Cheapies here in 2025. We have Jack Cole, infamous for that beautiful vomit that we saw on the field, and Tom Duffy. Shout out Tom Duffy. Your 2 notable mentions here.
Yeah, so the reason I mentioned them is obviously in the case of that, say the Blaze Talangi at 5'8" doesn't go very well. They might want to move him back to the centers or on the wing. So potentially Jack Cole could be then back into the halves. He didn't, in my opinion, he didn't do anything wrong last year. He did his job when he came in. And Duffy's mentioned there because obviously with Chad, the big Chad going to the Roosters, that he is obviously basically Clifford's had off-season hernia surgery as well, so he's a bit touch and go. Duffy was Queensland Cup Player of the Year last year, averaged 48.7
Big Duffy guy.
for the Northern Pride last year. So look, he goal kicks as well, no Val. So either Clifford or Duffy, whoever plays, is probably going to be goal kicking. Duffy's a gun goal kicker as well. So
The Cows love their Clifford.
They love
You know they
Clifford.
love a
He's a good
guy
player.
when he goes and they want him right back.
Yeah, he's a good player.
But my concern is that if they stop, sort of like the Moses situation, but at least Moses played a few games where Duffy, like he's been up there. This kid has got huge raps on him. Really talented youngster. He needs to be playing, or otherwise,
Something about him, this kid.
if he doesn't play, he's going to go elsewhere because he deserves an opportunity. Queensland Cup Player of the Year, like that's
Just
nothing.
quickly, cordless. No, not really a cheapie in that awkward price range. Toby Sexton.
Look, if you're a fan of the podcast, you all know that Toby Sexton is not only one of the greats of up and comers halves, but he was also a great fantasy buy last year.
Look, there was obviously a link when Sexton gets that jersey and the Bulldog success late in the season.
Big time.
But I'd like to see him do it again.
Well, they've shown faith in him. Like they've
With all due respect, all you have to do is go back to 2021, watch the early podcast and me saying Toby Sexton's a gun, and
I'm pretty
everything's
sure he
about to come
wasn't
to
that. I'm
fruition.
pretty sure he did get the jersey that year.
No, he did. He was a Titans jersey, and it's just come to fruition. So
What I want to say, boys, before we finish up here is, what do you classify as? What do you think's the cap? Is 400K like the cap of cheapies, or do you say
Nah,
it's
I
like
think it's less than that.
450?
no, I reckon it's less. I reckon the cheapie is 350K.
I reckon you got your base level cheapie, bottom price. You got your cheapie, and then you got your
Yeah, I honestly
Awkward price
think that
cheapie.
I know the
375, I think, is like, but anything above like 375.
But,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
but if you're 350K, that's a cash cow.
Yeah, cash
There is
cow.
a difference.
Yeah.
I know when the league's doing their best draft and their draft class for 2025 cheapies, and they want to know who gets the award at the end of the year, they're looking at 375 and below.
There's a couple of good,
Anything
good-
above that, it's a bit high.
There's
If
a
you're
couple of good-
399, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of good names just over the cheapie threshold in that mid range
Mm,
area,
there is.
cheapie mid range area. So that will be another podcast
touch
that
on,
we'll
yeah.
be able to touch on. But make sure you join the league, everyone.
Yeah,
There's
make
the
sure.
links in the link tree. It's also one of our posts as well. We'll keep on sharing throughout. So yeah, make sure you join.
Tipping
Largest
tipping
league.
comp this year, Dor?
Yeah, there'll be tipping comp. as well. And try and get as well, if you guys play Super Coach as well, we'll get a league out there again like last year. But that was a bit last minute thing last year. So we had actually a fair few players join. But
We haven't pushed any Supercoach content.
no.
We play.
Yeah, we play.
Yeah.
We play. Let the kids play.
Oh, we play.
Doors we'll be running a Supercoach team, a fantasy team, NRL Fantasy team, an NBA fantasy team.
Many fantasy teams.
There's a lot of
NFL
players that are
fantasy
relying
We
on
might start a
us.
fantasy
Yes.
podcast. Who knows?
Just fantasy.
Yeah. Make sure to like the Instagram, follow the Instagram, like everything else, subscribe to the
Twitter,
YouTube.
TikTok,
We're close to
YouTube,
1,000 subscribers on YouTube, close to 30K
That would
on
be
Instagram.
awesome. Yeah.
So make sure to like it up, subscribe. We'll be back for next preseason podcast, which we're undetermined yet, but I'm sure it's either a position one or a team one. But it will be in the near future. So
Or mid-rangers, elite, something like that.
I might just do gun mids.
Yeah.
That's it.
maybe just comment what you want and
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
just do that.
Yeah, let us know. The comments are always open. As Mick was saying in the last pod, if we don't get back to you straight away, we will eventually
Yeah.
do so. So
Yeah.
And hopefully by the time this is out, the app is out also.
Oh,
so
yes.
make
A lot of
sure
DMs
if
about that.
the
Yeah.
app is live, you click in that league button and you're joining the All Out League because they're going to be some good prizes this year. It's the biggest league in the game. So make sure to like it. We'll see you next podcast.
see ya.